So we get that politicians lie. We're fully aware of this. We understand this. We are not surprised by it. There is nothing new to it at all. And when we hear Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of Homeland Security, say this,
FEMA is tremendously prepared. This is what we do. This is what they do. And the key here, Rebecca, is also to make sure that the communities who are potentially impacted are prepared as well.
This is all just nonsense. As we heard from Brett Jensen of WBT Radio in Charlotte, North Carolina, on the scene covering this, no one knows what's happening. FEMA has been incompetent. The state has been incompetent. Nobody knows who's in charge. Everyone's pointing fingers like it's one of those Spider-Man episodes. It's a mess. And if it wasn't for us, the people, doing what we do, taking care of one another. They always want to say we're at each other's throats. We are taking care of one another. People are donating. People are utilizing their own helicopters, their own prop planes, airplanes to fly in aid, help people, help get people out. Even when they're told, if you do this, if you fly people in or fly people out, you'll get arrested. They're like, screw it. We're doing the thing. We're going to help our neighbors. We're going to help our fellow man. That's all that's going to happen. No one knows who's in charge. And Alejandro Mayorkas, this is government lying. Tony Katz today. Great to be with you. I didn't start off this way. I did not start off with the generalized philosophy that everything was going to hell in a handbasket. Everything was terrible and the government screwed it up. Immediately, that's what people do when they want to be political. And I said, wait a second. There's a massive storm. Incredible damage. As we learned from Brett Jensen, it wasn't the winds, it's the rains, the mudslides. You cannot cross through these areas. This mud doesn't melt, it's just there now, getting in the way, making it very difficult to traverse. So you can't get aid in, you can't get the power trucks in to turn the power back on. They got substations that have been just flooded out and totally destroyed. Transformers, massive issues. It's going to take time. It's been a week, and we are seeing through firsthand accounts, real incompetence from the federal government and from state government under the Governor Cooper there. And we're seeing them try and get in the way of the citizenry helping each other, which, of course, is exactly what they do. They want to be the ones in charge. You're causing the problem, but they can't actually do the job. And not trusting FEMA or Homeland Security, I think, is an accurate thing to do. Let them do what they do. But go in there and help people is 100% what we should be doing. As a matter of fact, for someone to say, no, don't go help is nuts. Now, there are times where maybe you don't want to get in the way. People are starving. People are trapped. They're going to die. Don't tell me about your rules. You got a helicopter. You want to fly in, fly in. I hope you're safe. I hope you know what you're doing. I hope you don't end up in a situation where you now need rescuing too. But my gosh, the idea that you do nothing because government is here and they've got it taken care of, that's ridiculous. That is no way to act and to be. Reliance on government is a death sentence. A foolhardy way for any society to live. We should want our government to work. It works better when it's smaller, by the way. When it's smaller and streamlined and following Article 1, Section 8 and doing the things that it's supposed to do. Don't tell the people that they can't. This goes back to literally the foundings of the nation. This goes back to observations of Alexis de Tocqueville and the clubs that Americans would create to gather together and solve problems locally and handle situations. They needed a bridge built. No one waited for the government to come build a bridge. Boom, they built a bridge. All right, let's get on to the next thing. That is an American ethos, an American value system, an American way of life, and it's better. And it certainly is more caring. It by definition, it is. By its action, it is. But this is about whether or not you trust the first thing that you hear. When it comes to a response, I understood that they needed time, and I think we all should have. There are clearly now issues that are being reported. But the idea of trusting things off the bat, those days are over. And rightfully so, and I feel that way about Doug Emhoff, the husband of Kamala Harris, the Democratic nominee for President of the United States. The report was that Doug Emhoff in 2012 slapped his then girlfriend. This was at the Cannes Film Festival. Don't know what he was doing there. He thought his then girlfriend was flirting with another man, and he smacked her. According to the reporting from the Daily Mail, he smacked her so hard that she was, quote, spun around, unquote, after an event. She was sobbing, crying after the attack. Doug Emhoff says through a spokesperson to a news outlet called Semaphore that this report is untrue. Any suggestion that he would ever hit a woman, he would or ever hit a woman is false. I'm telling you right now, I don't believe him at all. I want a full investigation. Why in the world would I believe Doug Emhoff? Why would I believe the nanny banger himself? Am I not allowed to say that? Is that considered crude for me? Or is that like I can get away with it? Some people can get away with things and some people can't. I never know where I am in the mix. You know, it's Tony. He's really thinking about the issues. But dear Lord, was that a sex joke? Was that a double entendre? And my God, was that a reference to like a 1964 sitcom? I get it. It's all sometimes a little peculiar. So I don't even know if I'm allowed to say nanny banger. Maybe that's just crude. He slept with the nanny during his first marriage and got the nanny pregnant. That's Doug Emhoff. You know, the model of the new masculinity. Doug Emhoff. That's what the Democrats want to do. They want more men like Doug Emhoff and Tim Walz. Clearly, because who could ever emulate Rob Reiner? Am I right? Or am I right? Or am I right? That's right. I don't believe him. Now, I have no reason not to believe him, nor do I have any reason to believe the initial claim. But they created a set of rules. And under those rules, Doug Emhoff must be vilified by the Me Too movement, and he has to be castigated, pushed away, kicked out of, dismissed from civil society. Louis C.K. never smacked a woman. You know what Louis C.K. did, the comedian? Louis C.K. Said, hey, do you mind watching, female friend, while I, with myself? That's what he did. All right, you could argue odd or weird. You could argue any part you like. You could argue, I should try that one. You could argue any part you want. The argument was that these were comics who figured that he could help their career, and maybe they felt like they should watch or stay there because they didn't want their career impacted, right? That was the argument at the time. And then Louis C.K. had to be canceled. What Louis C.K. did was nothing compared to this allegation. I need to find out if the allegation's true. Why is nobody checking to see if the allegation's true? Now, the Daily Mail piece had interviews and everything else. How come it's not disqualifying? Why is it that the so-called feminists of the political left are not up in arms? Why are they not outraged? If there was a story about Trump maybe sneezing while a woman was talking, MSNBC would discuss how violent it is. MSNBC would have called it germ warfare. It would go on for days. Nothing about this. The Billy Bush tape, which I must tell you, I should go back and listen to my commentaries then. I don't know if I ever even saw it as a big deal. The Billy Bush tape was the one where Trump was recorded saying when you're a celebrity, women will do anything. You can grab them by the blank and all this jazz. And I believe my commentary was, I remember having this conversation with my father when he was alive. And well, of course, when he was alive, Tony. I mean, how else? Seances, Katz? Is this who you are? Please, no seances. And the conversation was, well, of course this is true. Are we all children We don't know that this is true, that celebrities have a ability with guy celebrities, with women, will do nearly anything. Have we never heard the stories of groupies before? I know it's a whole new world and all that jazz, but some things don't change. No one doubts this for a second. In Donald Trump's heyday, when the times he was single, there is not a woman in New York who would not have gone home with him and then the next morning bragged to every friend she had about, you will not believe what I did. Period. We are not children. What they say about Trump today in terms of the political rhetoric and what they're saying about 2016 is not the stuff they said in 2012. He was beloved. He was a part of Americana. He was a cultural aspiration. Let's not deny history. Let's be honest about what it is that took place. So Trump's commentary then, I didn't think was the end of the road. I didn't think it was the worst thing that ever got said. And I think there are plenty of women who clutch their pearls about it. And there are plenty of guys who pucker about it. But in the end, it's true. And we know this. We are not shocked. But that was a conversation about something that happens within a celebrity culture. He didn't hit nobody, and nobody alleges that he didn't hit anybody. Right, nobody alleges that he hit anybody. That's it. Nobody alleges that he hit anybody. He didn't hit anybody. That's what I wanted to say. But here's an allegation of an actual physical assault. So why is it not investigated? And why would I accept a Doug Emhoff statement through a spokesperson? Oh, that never happened. Wait, you can just brush it off? Next. No. That is not going to fly, kitten. We're not going to sit here and accept that as just a given. And okay, we no longer have to talk about it. We no longer have to discuss it. It clearly wasn't a thing because, as you know, Doug Emhoff and his staff say it wasn't a thing.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
It's not how it works. This conversation should be constant, and the investigation should go forward, and it should be very, very serious. And if people aren't going to handle it seriously, well, then we have to make an assumption that he's guilty. And he has to be ostracized and moved aside from civil society. That has to happen by the women immediately because there are rules. And you, my friends on the political left, you set them. And now I expect them honored. I think that I have no reason not to think that Doug Emhoff didn't hit this girl. I think he did it. And you got to prove to me otherwise, because I don't know why she's lying. I mean, she could be innocent until proven guilty, but maybe an investigation. And while that's happening, he should still be ostracized because those are the rules that the left put in place. And I think they should be applied equally. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today.